You are casting spells every single day. You just don't realize you are casting them against yourself. Imagine for a second that your bank account isn't empty because of the economy or your boss or bad luck. Imagine that your bank account is empty because you literally commanded it to be. There is a very specific reason why the ancient Hebrew word for word and the word for thing are exactly the same. Davar. In the mystic traditions of the Kabbalah and in the boardrooms of the most successful Jewish businessmen in Manhattan, this is not a metaphor. It is a mechanism. You have been walking through life with a loaded weapon pointed at your own financial future, pulling the trigger over and over again with your vocabulary. You say things casually, over coffee, in traffic, or while looking at a bill, not realizing that the universe is a giant Xerox machine, simply printing out more of what you speak. Today, we are going to dismantle the 6 linguistic viruses that keep you poor. These are 6 words and phrases that a billionaire rabbi once explained are the literal blockages in the pipe of wealth. If you stop saying them, you don't just sound different, you vibrate differently. And when that frequency changes, the reality around you has no choice but to reshuffle. We are going to look at the ancient wisdom that connects your tongue to your wallet, and we are going to replace these poverty spells with commands of abundance. But be warned, once you hear this, you will never be able to speak casually again. You will hear these words coming out of your friends' mouths, and you will understand exactly why they are stuck. Let's begin with the architecture of reality. To understand why these 6 words are dangerous, you have to understand the power source. In the opening of the Hebrew Bible, the Creator does not build the world with hands. He speaks it. Let there be light. And there was light. The Aramaic word abracadabra, which we associate with cheap magic tricks and children's parties, actually has a terrifyingly powerful origin. It comes from the Aramaic phrase Ibra Kadavra, which translates to I create as I speak. Think about that. I create as I speak. This isn't just poetic fluff. Neuroscience shows us that the language centers of the brain are directly wired to the motor cortex and the reticular activating system. Your words are instructions to your subconscious mind. If you describe your reality as a struggle, your brain, which is the most powerful supercomputer on Earth, will filter out every opportunity for ease and highlight every instance of struggle just to prove you right. Your brain wants to be right more than it wants to be rich. So, when you use the words we are about to list, you are essentially programming your internal GPS to drive you off a cliff. The billionaire rabbi, a figure who advises some of the wealthiest real estate moguls in New York, teaches that wealth is energy. It flows like water. Words are the pipes. If the pipes are clogged with the rust of negativity, the water cannot flow, no matter how hard you work. You could work 20 hours a day, but if your mouth is shutting the valve, you will remain dry. Let's look at the first and perhaps the most common destroyer of dreams. This is a phrase that most of us say almost reflexively. We say it to our children, we say it to our spouses, and we whisper it to ourselves when we see something beautiful in a shop window. The first phrase, I can't afford it. This sentence is a tragedy. It is a full stop. It is a dead end. When you say, I can't afford it, your brain literally stops working. It shuts down the problem-solving mechanism. You have given a command that says the resource is not there and there is no way to get it. The moment those words leave your lips, you detach yourself from the energy of possibility. You are reinforcing a state of lack. You are telling your subconscious, I am not the kind of person who has this. In the Hebrew tradition, there is a concept that the potential for everything already exists. The light is always there. It is the vessel that is small. When you say, I can't afford it, you are smashing the vessel. You are making yourself small. I want you to look at a case study of a man named David. David was a mid-level manager making a decent salary but always drowning in credit card debt. He wanted to invest in a real estate course that cost $5,000. For 3 years, he looked at the price tag and said, I can't afford it. And for 3 years, his income stayed flat. Then he learned this principle. He made a pact with himself to never let those 4 words cross his lips again. Instead, he switched to the alternative, and this is what you must do. You must replace the statement with a question. Instead of, I can't afford it, you ask, how can I afford it? Notice the shift. I can't is a door slamming shut. How can I is a door swinging open. When David started asking, how can I afford this, his brain woke up. It started scanning for solutions. He realized he had a garage full of old equipment he never used. He realized he could freelance his accounting skills on the weekend. Within 30 days, he didn't just find the $5,000, he found $7,000. The money was always accessible in his field of potential, but his language had blinded him to it. By asking how, you invite the infinite into the equation. You challenge the limitation. So, effective immediately, banish I can't afford it from your vocabulary. If you truly choose not to buy something, say, I am choosing to allocate my resources elsewhere right now. That is a position of power. I can't is a position of victimhood. Wealth never flows to victims. Now we move deeper into the trap. The second phrase is even more insidious because it attacks your identity. It doesn't just describe your wallet, it describes your soul. The second phrase, I'm broke. Never, ever, under any circumstances, label yourself as broke. There is a massive difference between a temporary financial situation and your identity. In Hebrew wisdom, the name of a thing defines its essence. If you name yourself broke, you are etching that state into your DNA. Broke is a static condition. It implies brokenness. It implies that the machine is not functioning. If you walk around telling your friends, I can't go out, I'm broke, or man, I'm so broke right now, you are instructing your subconscious to maintain that status quo. You are identifying with the zero in your bank account. The Billionaire Rabbi teaches that money is a result, not a cause. If you have $0, it is a temporary result of past actions. It is not who you are. When you say, I am broke, you are using the 2 most powerful words in the universe, I am. Whatever follows I am is a command to the universe to shape your reality. If you say, I am tired, you feel tired. If you say, I am broke, you embody poverty. There was a young woman named Sarah, an artist, talented, brilliant, but struggling. Her mantra was, I'm a broke artist. She wore it like a badge of honor. She thought it made her authentic. But deep down, she wanted stability. She wanted to travel. She wanted to help her parents. But as long as she identified as a broke artist, her paintings wouldn't sell. Buyers could smell the desperation and the lack of worth. She changed her language. She stopped saying, I'm broke. Even when her account was overdrawn, she refused to claim the title. Instead, she started saying, I am currently building my cash flow, or simply, I am in a transitional period. This sounds like semantics, but it is magic. I am building cash flow is active. It implies motion. It implies that money is coming. It changes your posture. When Sarah stopped calling herself broke, she started carrying herself with dignity. She raised her prices. And guess what? People paid them. Because she no longer vibrated with the frequency of a broken machine. She vibrated with the frequency of a growing business. Stop cursing yourself. If your funds are low, acknowledge the fact without accepting the identity. Say, my liquidity is low at the moment, or I am prioritizing accumulation right now. Never let the word broke follow the words I am. This brings us to the third linguistic poison. This one is tricky because it masquerades as humility or realism. It sounds like you are just being practical, but actually, you are severing your connection to the divine flow of abundance. The third phrase, I don't need much, or money isn't important. This is the lie of the mediocre. We have been conditioned by society, and sometimes by misinterpreted religious texts, to believe that desiring wealth is greedy or evil. So to appear virtuous, we say, oh, I don't need much, just enough to get by, or money isn't really that important to me. If you say money isn't important, money will respect your opinion and stay away from you. Imagine you have a friend and you constantly tell everyone, that guy isn't important to me. I don't really need him around. How often do you think that friend will visit you? Money is energy. It goes where it is respected and invited. The Hebrew word for money, kesef, shares a root with the word kisuf, which means yearning or longing. There is a holy longing in the desire for resources because resources allow you to do good in the world. You cannot feed the hungry if your plate is empty. You cannot build schools, support your community, or care for your aging parents with good intentions. You need resources. When you say, I don't need much, you are putting a cap on your potential. You are telling the universe, don't send me too much, I can't handle it. You are shrinking your vessel. Why would you want just enough for yourself? That is actually selfish. True abundance is having enough for yourself and an overflow to help others. There is a story of a businessman who sat with the rabbi. He said, Rabbi, I don't want to be a billionaire. I just want a simple life. I don't need money. The rabbi looked at him and said, then you are selfish. Because the hospital down the street needs a new wing. The orphanage needs coats for the winter. Your humility is actually arrogance. You are refusing the power to help because you are afraid of the responsibility of wealth. That hit the man hard. He realized he was using I don't need much as a shield to hide from his fear of success. He changed his phrase to I am open to unlimited abundance so I can be of maximum service. Do you feel the difference in weight? I don't need much is heavy, stagnant, small. I am open to unlimited abundance is expansive, light, and powerful. It gives your brain a mission. It gives your work a purpose beyond just paying the electric bill. Now, before we move to the fourth word, and this fourth word is the one that destroys more careers than any economic crash, I want you to take a second. Pause the video if you have to. I want you to go to the comments right now and type the phrase you are going to eliminate starting today. Is it, I can't afford it? Is it, I'm broke? Or is it, I don't need much? Write it down as a contract with yourself. By typing it, you are physically removing it from your system. Are you back? Good, because the next 3 words are the silent killers. They are the ones you whisper in the dark when you are trying to sleep. They are the ones that make you procrastinate, that make you doubt, that make you quit right before the gold mine.
The fourth phrase is dangerous because it sounds like you are trying. It sounds like you are making an effort. But in reality, it is a confession of failure before you even begin. The billionaire Rabbi calls this the loser's prayer. The fourth phrase, I'll try. Yoda was right. Do or do not. There is no try. But let's look at this through the lens of Hebrew linguistic precision. When you say, I'll try to make $1 million, or I'll try to start that business, you are building a back door for failure. You are giving yourself permission to quit. Trying implies a struggle with an expectation of failure. If I invite you to my house for dinner and you say, I'll try to make it, I know you are not coming. You know you are not coming. We are just being polite. When you tell your subconscious, I'll try, your brain does not fully engage. It holds back energy. It says, well, since we are only trying, we don't need to use all our resources. We don't need to burn the boats. Successful people do not try. They commit. They decide. The word decision comes from the Latin decidere, which means to cut off. When you decide, you cut off all other options. You cut off the option of failure. Instead of I'll try, use the words I will, or even better, I am doing. I will build this business. I am mastering this skill. There is a specific vibration to the word try that is weak. It wobbles. Test this on yourself. Say out loud, I'll try to lift this weight. Now say, I will lift this weight. Your body actually reacts differently. Your muscles tense differently. Your posture shifts. If you want to destroy the frequency of abundance, keep trying. If you want to attract wealth, start doing. But the list isn't finished. We have 2 more phrases, and the final one is so subtle, so ingrained in our culture of complaint, that you probably said it 5 times today without realizing it was poisoning your financial future. This next word is the reason you feel tired all the time. It is the reason opportunities seem to slip through your fingers. It creates a cloud of resistance around you that repels money like 2 positive magnets pushing away from each other. You might think you are just venting. You might think you are just telling it like it is. But what you are actually doing is cursing your own path. The 5th phrase is the language of the slave, not the master. And until you remove it, you will remain a slave to your circumstances. The 5th phrase, I hate. I hate my job. I hate this car. I hate paying bills. Listen closely. When you hate something, you chain yourself to it. Hate is not the opposite of love. It is a distorted form of obsession. It is an intense, high-voltage emotional connection. To the universe, to the quantum field, or whatever name you wish to give the governing dynamics of reality, the content of your focus matters less than the intensity of your focus. When you say, I hate my job, you are pouring emotional gasoline onto the reality of that job. You are vibrating at the frequency of that job. You are thinking about it in the shower. You are talking about it at dinner. You are ruminating on it before sleep. You are dedicating 80% of your mental energy to the very thing you claim to want to escape. And because energy flows where attention goes, you become a magnet for more reasons to hate your job. Your boss becomes more annoying. The commute gets longer. The pay feels smaller.
You are trapping yourself in a feedback loop of misery because you are emotionally engaged with the problem rather than the solution. Consider the phrase, "I hate paying bills." This is perhaps the most common financial curse spoken in modern households. Every month, you sit down, look at the electricity bill, the mortgage, the credit card statement, and you feel resentment. You feel a tightening in your chest. You feel as though something is being taken from you. You say, "I hate this. I hate losing this money." But let us look at the mechanics of this transaction. Money is an exchange of value. You are not losing money. You are trading it for electricity that keeps your house warm, for the internet that connects you to the world, for the roof over your head. By saying, "I hate paying bills," you are essentially saying, "I hate receiving these services." You are telling the universe that you resent the exchange of value. And if you resent the exchange, the flow stops. You cannot attract money if you hate the movement of money. To break this, you must become an alchemist. You must transmute the lead of resentment into the gold of gratitude. This sounds like a cliché spiritual bypassing technique, but it is strictly mechanical. Next time you pay a bill, say, "I love that I have the money to pay this. I love that I have electricity." Feel the difference? The constriction in your chest vanishes. The resistance dissolves. You are no longer a victim of the bill. You are the master of the resource. You are signaling to your subconscious that you are a person who can afford their life. And that signal attracts more capacity to afford things. But now we must descend to the final level. We must confront the sixth phrase. I save this for last because it is the master key of poverty. The previous phrases we discussed, "I want," "I hope," "I'll try," "I should," "I hate," they are all symptoms. This final phrase is the disease itself. It is the iron gate that slams shut in front of your potential. It is a phrase that successful people have surgically removed from their vocabulary, and yet poor people recite it like a religious mantra. It masquerades as a fact. It pretends to be a responsible observation of reality. You say it to protect yourself, to stay safe, to be realistic. But every time you speak it, you are digging a grave for your dreams. The sixth phrase is, "I can't afford it." Feel the weight of that sentence. I can't afford it. It is a statement of absolute finality. It is a period at the end of a sentence. When you look at a beautiful house, a seminar that could change your career, or an investment opportunity, and you say, "I can't afford it," your brain instantly stops working. You have given it a command to shut down. You have accepted the current state of your bank account as a permanent condition of your identity. Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, famously said that his poor dad always said, "I can't afford it," while his rich dad asked, "How can I afford it?" The difference between a statement and a question is the difference between a dead end and an open door. When you say, "I can't," you are a victim of circumstance. You are passive. You are telling the world that you lack the power to change your situation. You are reinforcing the neural pathways of scarcity. Your reticular activating system, the filter in your brain that decides what you notice, immediately stops looking for opportunities to make money. Why should it look? You've already stated the conclusion. You can't. But this goes deeper than just buying things. This phrase infects your perception of your own worth. I can't afford the time. I can't afford to take the risk. I can't afford to be wrong. It is the language of paralysis. Now, I want you to visualize something with me. Close your eyes for a moment if you can. Imagine your words are not just sounds, but architects. Imagine that every time you speak, you are laying a brick.
When you say, "I can't afford it," you are laying a gray, heavy cinder block right in front of your face. You say it again the next day, "I can't afford that trip." Another block. "I can't afford to start a business." Another block. "I can't. I can't. I can't." Day by day, year by year, you are building a wall, a prison cell, and you are the mason. You are the one mixing the mortar. You are the one placing the bricks. Eventually, the wall is so high you cannot see over it. You cannot see the horizon. You cannot see the opportunities. All you can see is the gray wall of your own limitations, built by your own tongue. You sit inside this cell wondering why the rich get richer and why you are stuck, never realizing that the door was never locked. You just bricked it over. This is the climax of your current reality. You are standing in the center of the life you have spoken into existence. Look around you. Your car, your house, your relationships, your bank balance. They are all physical manifestations of the conversations you have had with yourself for the last 10 years. If you do not like the view, you must tear down the wall. And you do not tear it down with a sledgehammer. You tear it down with a new vocabulary. You must eradicate "I can't afford it" from your life. Even if you literally do not have the money in your pocket right now, never speak the words "I can't." Instead, say, "I am not purchasing that at this moment." This implies choice. It implies that you have control, not the lack of money. Or say, "I am working on a way to acquire that." This engages the brain. Or simply ask, "How can I create the wealth for this?" When you ask how, your brain wakes up. It starts scanning the environment. It becomes a heat-seeking missile for solutions. It begins to notice side hustles, investment gaps, connections, and ideas that were invisible to you when you were living in the "I can't" mindset. Let us bring this all together. We have traversed the landscape of linguistic poverty. We have identified the 6 horsemen of the financial apocalypse. 1. I want, which affirms lack. 2. I hope, which gives away your power. 3. I should, which creates guilt and resistance. 4. I'll try, which plans for failure. 5. I hate, which magnetically attaches you to the problem. 6. I can't afford it, which shuts down your creative genius. The path to abundance is not just about working harder. It is not just about learning a new marketing strategy or buying a crypto token. Those are external mechanics. The true engine of wealth is internal. It is the software running on the hardware of your brain. If you install the software of a billionaire onto a brain infected with the virus of "I can't" and "I hate," the system will crash every single time. You will self-sabotage. You will win the lottery and lose it all in 2 years. You will get the promotion and burn out. Because your vocabulary, your definition of reality, is not aligned with the abundance you seek. So, what is the antidote? What is the language of the master? It is the language of intent, gratitude, and presence. Instead of "I want to be rich," say "I am creating wealth." Instead of "I hope this works," say "I intend for this to succeed." Instead of "I should work out," say "I choose to strengthen my body." Instead of "I'll try to do it," say "I will do it." Instead of "I hate these bills," say "I appreciate the value I received." Instead of "I can't afford it," say "How can I create it?" This shift is subtle, but it is seismic. It changes your posture. It changes your tone of voice.
It changes the micro expressions on your face. When you speak with conviction and gratitude, people trust you more. Opportunities find you. You become a conductor of energy rather than a resistor of it. You must understand that your voice is the only instrument in the known universe that can create vibrations that shape reality. Sound is energy. Words are containers for that energy. Do not fill those containers with poison and expect to drink the elixir of life. The challenge I offer you today is a silent one. For the next 7 days, become a watcher of your own words. Observe them like a hawk. Catch yourself when you slip into the language of the slave. When you hear yourself say, "I hope," stop, pause, breathe, and correct it immediately. Say, "Cancel that. What I meant to say is, I intend." It will feel awkward at first. You will realize just how addicted you are to the language of powerlessness. It might even be terrifying to realize how much you have been holding yourself back. But as you scrub your vocabulary clean, you will feel a lightness return to your spirit. The heavy cloud of resistance will lift. The wall of "I can't" will begin to crumble, brick by brick, revealing the horizon that has been waiting for you all along. The universe is listening. It is always listening. It does not judge your requests, it simply fulfills them. It is a giant Xerox machine, copying whatever you put on the glass. Stop putting lack on the glass. Stop putting hate on the glass. Start commanding. Start appreciating. Start deciding. You are the author of this story. The pen is in your hand. The ink is your word. Stop writing a tragedy and start writing the legend you were born to live. The choice, as always, is yours. But now you can no longer say you didn't know. You have the codes. The old programming is exposed. Speak clearly, speak boldly, and watch the world rearrange itself around you.